Welcome to the first day of the Gingham quilt along. I'm so glad you're here. This afternoon we're going to talk real quickly about choosing your fabrics for your gingham quilt. So I'm actually going to record two different videos on this. The first one, we'll call it Choosing Your Fabrics 101. So what to kind of consider when you're going to use a light, a dark, and a halftone. So we'll kind of go through that. Tomorrow I'm going to do a little bit, for those of you who like to walk on the wild side, a crazier version. So when you want to do either a mix of two colors, like for a team quilt, or you want to use some wild prints, kind of how to pick out the background or the right color so that you still have that gingham effect, but you're using some different, more patterned fabrics or blending some colors. For today, we're just going to talk about light, dark, halftone. So I don't really know if halftone is a true term, but it's the best way for me to describe when you have a dark. If you were to, use Microsoft Paint or Adobe Illustrator or the Procreate app, and you were to put, choose this color from the color picker, and you were to go kind of halfway in between where white is and this red, you're going to find some version of pink. Maybe it's not exactly this pink, but it's going to be some version of pink. So that's what you kind of need to think about when you're choosing fabrics. Once you have your dark and your light, then choosing something in between, or you can start with your light and then build backwards from there and say, okay, if this is halfway in between, then I need these two other colors. So that's kind of the theory behind choosing our fabrics in a nutshell. But let's go through some fun examples because there are a few different ways we can get there. Obviously, solids are a really easy way to get there. Choose a dark, choose a white, and then just pick what's in between. So that's going to work for any color of the rainbow. Whether you're, a black, a gray, a white, a navy, a lighter blue, a white, any color, the possibilities are endless with that. So you can definitely use a lot of different solids. We can also mix it up with a print. So we can add a blender print to the mix. So we haven't dove into blender territory yet, so we've got here, or we haven't dove into woven territory yet. We're still in blender territory. So even though this has a little bit of print to it, it still reads blue. It still reads this lighter color blue. So when I put a navy with it, I'm still going to have a dark, a light, and then this in between where I'm still going to have that gingham effect. It's just a different way to get there. So I'll put these back down here. Sorry, I don't have a beautiful assistant. I need, like a magician, I need like a beautiful assistant to come help me, or even an ugly assistant. I'd really be okay with any assistance. Anyway, sorry, I digress. So here's a Bonnie and Camille woven. So this is one of the Bonnie and Camille pinks. I believe this is Tea Rose. I believe, oh, here, we'll tell you real quick. Yes, it's Tea Rose. So Bella 89. And when you mix that with the new pink diamonds from Bonnie and Camille Wovens that just came out, you've got a great look there as well. So this is pretty much halfway in between this pink and this white. So you've got a great way to get there because wovens are kind of the cheating way to do it. I know some people are a little adverse to working with wovens. I would say jump in, try wovens. You will absolutely love them. I am a huge fan of wovens. So anyway, but I will be offering some tips up on a video, I believe on Tuesday. I could be off by a day or two. But before we start cutting, I'll offer up my tips on working with wovens. And seriously, once you work with wovens, you won't go back. They're just a ton of fun. So this is a great way to get there because especially when you think of gingham fabric, you've got your colored threads going one direction, meeting white threads going the opposite direction. So really that gingham effect really is what a woven is. Where those colors intersect is what a woven is. So that's why using a woven is a great way to kind of cheat, if you will. So I've got a few other examples here. Another red here from the Bonnie and Camille woven line, the red dot. And I pulled a red tree print from their vintage holiday line. So even though this is pretty patterned, it still is going to read as a red solid. It's still a blender because these are colors. There's not a lot of crazy color gradation there. It's all pretty much in the same color family. So you've got a great way to make a really fun Christmas quilt. I had Christmas on the brain when I was pulling fabric, so I have a few more Christmas options. The next option, also a Christmas quilt. This is black Essex linen, but it would also work great with Moda crossweave. And then from the little tree line from Lala Boutique, here's another blend. Even though this has pattern to it, it's got the white trees, when you cut it up, it's still got so much of a field of black. It's still going to read black, and you're going to have a great gingham result here with this as well. So don't shy away from prints. If you see something that's not too overly complex, you're still going to have great success with it. And here's a pretty green that this actually has. I don't know if the color, we'll see. I'll tilt it up and down a little bit so you can see the metallic. This is an Essex metallic in this pretty green color, and I think it just looks gorgeous with this green from Rifle Paper Company. So again, there's still some print going on here, but the vast majority of the background is this green, and that's kind of halfway in between the green colored threads and the white colored threads on this Essex metallic. So this is another great blend that's going to look fantastic. And last but not least, our last example here, we've got, this is the denim Essex. And then I got a little crazy. I added a little more color in with the candy canes. So the candy canes, even though there's a little white, little red, little blue bows, still the field is majority navy. This still reads from far away, is going to read as a navy print, and I think it's just going to blend beautifully. So I think this may be, this is what I'm leaning towards for my quilt for the Gingham Quilts Along. I have not chosen my fabrics yet. So if you're still kind of on the fence, you're not sure, you're out at the fabric shop and you're just like, I'm not sure if I'm choosing the right fabrics, one of the quick ways to make sure, okay, these are going to have enough contrast, they're going to be the right value, take a black and white picture. If you take a black and white picture of those fabrics next to each other, your halftone and your dark and your halftone and your white, you should be able to pick out pretty clearly which one is your dark, which one is your halftone, and which one is your white. If either two of these, you know, your hop in the middle there, if they're too close in value, it's not going to read, you're not going to have enough contrast to have this gingham effect. It's going to look like this line will look like a dark, and then this line will just look kind of funny every other one, or vice versa. This line will look really light, and then this line will look like every other one. So just use that black and white photo on your cell phone, and you'll be all set. So meet me back here tomorrow, and we'll talk all about choosing your fabrics 201, when we'll get a little more crazy with our choices. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. Take care.